All right, we are at the NBA All-Star break. Most teams have about 22 games or so left to play. The Knicks and Nets, they're both in playoff position in the Eastern Conference. But what will things look like over the final stretch of the season? Let's talk some NBA hoops with True Hoop NBA writer and host of the 7 Footers podcast. That is Jarod Hector. Jarod, how are you enjoying your All-Star break?
I'm great because I'm not freezing in Salt Lake City, so I'm doing quite well.
Yeah, I'm glad you and I didn't make the trip. I was out there last February and it was freezing. Don't need to do that again with nothing else to excite me. A little basketball would, but that's a whole nother story. Jarod, the Knicks, they sit at 6th in the East while the Nets are at 5th. Where do you think both New York basketball teams finish in the standings, and do either have a shot to make some noise in the postseason?
I mean, that's the challenge, right? You want to finish in that top 6 because that's the guaranteed playoff position. But really, it's the Knicks, Nets, and Heat. So 3 teams fighting for those last 2 spots. I do think the Knicks and Nets have a very good chance of holding on to 5th and 6th. The only thing I will say is that, now that the star power is gone from Brooklyn, if they got to win a lot of close games down the stretch, who is the guy that's going to generate offense for them off the bounce? Cam Thomas has been great for that 4-game stretch. Mikal Bridges is showing you some things, but Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, clean up a lot of your messes. For the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has played like an all-star, even though he's not one. And Julius Randle's played well also. So I think they'll be able to hold on, but don't count Miami out. They're only, half a game or a game back, and Jimmy Butler, that's a guy who can close.
That's a guy who can close, and Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat. We'll see what the Knicks and Nets do. Let's go out to the Western Conference, where the gap between the team with the 3rd best record and the 10th best record in the conference is just 4 games. So after all the dust is settled from the trade deadline and the All-Star break, who do you see winning the West?
I still like the Denver Nuggets because they now have a 5-game lead, if I'm not mistaken, in the Western Conference. I just don't, as good as Phoenix is going to be, I love Memphis. They've been struggling a little bit recently. I think Denver has a level of continuity, and they know what they're doing with Nikola Jokic, who will possibly be the 3-time league most valuable player, deservedly so. They kind of have their rhythm and their identity set. They're playing a little bit better on the defensive end. And again, they have that 5-game lead. Remember, it's not just about you playing well. The team above you has to start losing games too. And I don't see Denver going in the tank post All-Star break.
All right, you got the Nuggets in the West. Now, in the East, the Bucks, they've won 12 in a row, and they trail the Celtics for the top spot by just half a game. Will the conference come down to those 2 teams, the Celtics and the Bucks?
Yeah, those are by far the 2 best teams in the conference. When you look at adjusted net rating, their offensive rating, their defensive rating, I mean, they're lights out. I will say Cleveland has the profile of a team that could make a run deep into the playoffs, especially with the right matchup. The only thing holding them back is their youth. And we mentioned the Nets and Knicks earlier. Look, they're cute and they're fun, right? But, the Nets and the Knicks specifically, the way they guard, they could make any series just really more difficult than any of those top seeds want it to be.
All right. See, cute teams can do some things sometimes. It can make things difficult. I don't know if Jarod was throwing shade at the Knicks or Nets by calling them cute, but I'll leave that up to the interpretation of the viewers. That is Jarod Hector. He's a writer for True Hoop, also co-host of the 7 Footers podcast. Go check that out. Jarod, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your All-Star break.
Thank you, man.